Hi and welcome. You're listening to the LM Report. My name is Lima and this is episode 10 coming to you on this Wednesday, April 9th, 2025. Today's title is Trump Sets the Timeline for Accountability, Checkmate Looms Ahead. We're diving into a sprawling tapestry of political strategies, agency reforms, economic overhauls, border security initiatives, global shifts, judicial maneuvers, and revelations that could redefine our government's trajectory. This isn't just a news digest, it's a window into the forces shaping our nation and the world. So grab a seat and let's unpack these developments with the depth, precision, and insight you deserve. Political strategy, a midterm master plan unfolds. Let's kick off with the political landscape. President Trump, in a fiery speech last week, laid out a bold vision, declaring, "We're gonna prove that all of their treacherous years of betrayal will not be forgotten because it's treason. What they did is treason." He singled out border security lapses, 1.2 million illegal crossings in 2024 per IC stats, and economic policies like Biden's $1.9 trillion stimulus in 2021 per CBO as deliberate missteps against America's interests. His clincher, "I'm looking forward to the midterms, set the clock ticking. November 2026 is the pivot for a power grab. Why zero in on the midterms? Congress is a bottleneck. Republicans hold a fragile 221 to 214 House majority and a 53 to 47 Senate edge per April 2025 tallies. That's too close to push Trump's big-ticket items like a $1 trillion spending cut he pitched on Truth Social April 9th, slashing federal bloat by 15% per CBO estimates, or tax relief saving families $2,000 yearly per tax foundation projections. A midterm landslide could flip that dynamic, unlocking deregulation, cutting permitting times from 18 months to 90 days per commerce plans, and infrastructure like $500 billion in roads per White House goals. Historically, midterms punish the incumbent party. Democrats dropped 63 House seats in 2010 per congressional records after Obama's first term. Trump's flipping that script, banking on a transparency blitz. Picture 18 months of revelations, financial trails, policy flops hitting swing states like Ohio, won by 3% in 2024 per exit polls, or Pennsylvania, a 1.2% nail-biter. Timing's critical. Drop evidence by July 4th, 2026, Independence Day, and spark a voter surge. It's a calculated play. 62% back his trade stance per a March 2025 Gallup poll. Wagering accountability flips seats from blue to red in districts like Michigan's 8th, where Democrats clung, by 2% in 2024 per state data. Agency cleanup, restoring integrity step by step. Next, the agencies where reform is in full swing. FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino posted on X, April 9th, "We've begun reforming how we evaluate leaders, agents, and staff. Some changes are live, others need time. This isn't a trust me game, it's a results game. You will see outcomes." He spotlighted recent busts like 15 MS, 13 members nabbed in a Texas sting, April 7th per DOJ releases, tied to 1,200 violent crimes in 2024 per FBI data, tying border security to public safety. That's 300 assaults and 50 murders traced to illegal entrants per agency logs, now under scrutiny. Tulsi Gabbard at the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, leads a task force hunting leaks and waste, $500 million in untracked grants per 2023 audits and 10,000 in used federal contracts per GAO reports. Kash Patel, FBI Director, returned James O'Keefe's iPhones seized in a 2021 raid. 20 agents stormed his home per court filings per O'Keefe's April 9th ex post closing, a 3-year ordeal. Attorney General Pam Bondi is probing George Soros and Alex Soros for allegedly funding Tesla vandalism. 3 cars torched in Seattle, April 6th, costing $150,000 per police reports, prompting Elon Musk's reply, "Those who finance attacks will face justice." This overhaul spans the board. The DOJ, under Bondi, tracks NGO funds $10 million flowed through ActBlue in 2024 per FEC filings, while DOJ slashes inefficiencies $2 billion in duplicate programs per 2024 audits. Look back, the FBI's COINTELPRO in the 1970s spied on 7,000 activists per Senate probes, eroding trust. Trump's team aims to rebuild that with the FBI's 35,000 agents and DOJ's 113,000 staff per 2025 budgets serving public ends. By 2026, a clean slate could mean 90% case clearance, up from 75% per FBI goals. Economic leverage, rewriting the financial playbook. Economically, Trump's swinging for the fences. The Federal Reserve's grip $8 trillion in bond purchases since 2008 per Fed data props $2 trillion deficits per Treasury updates, ballooning debt to $36.5 trillion per April 2025 figures from $5 trillion in 1990 per CBO. Elon Musk at Doge uncovered 14 Treasury computers minting funds out of thin air per his April 8 X post, echoing Trump's pledge to curb unchecked spending like $3 trillion in COVID relief per 2020 to 2021 records. Trump's tariffs 125% on China per his April 8 Truth Post, target manufacturing return. Pharmaceuticals 90% imported per FDA data $50 billion in generics from China and India per 2024 trade stats could shift stateside, adding 50,000 jobs per NAM estimates. This cuts reliance on foreign cash and Fed loans, potentially freeing $100 billion yearly per trade partnership models. Doge's $4 billion NIH overhead cut, capping lab costs at 15%, down from 27% per February 2025 plans stalled by a March 5 injunction per Boston court rulings, but hints at $20 billion in agency savings per CBO forecasts. History's a guide. Reagan's 1980s tax cuts juiced GDP by 4.5% per BA, adding 20 million jobs per BLS. Trump's eyeing a repeat with 500,000 manufacturing roles by 2030. Per Oxford Economics, offsetting tariff hits like $2 billion in soybean losses per USDA. Energies, a booster. Oil at $57 per barrel April 9th per EIA could drop to $20 per Trump's April 8th order, saving $500 per driver per AAA and $10 billion in shipping per ATA. Exposing corruption following the money trail. Now the heart of it, corruption. Doge and the DOJ are peeling back layers. Musk's team alleges billions funneled through NGOs $15 million to ActBlue in 2023 to 2024 per FEC reached politicians like Maxine Waters, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer per unverified April 8 X posts. Evidence could land by July 4, 2026, Trump's hinted Independence Day reveal detailing kickbacks from programs like $1 billion in green energy grants per DOE audits meant for roads or schools. Watergate in 1972 bared $200,000 laundered per congressional probes. Today, it's $5 billion per Doge prelims, with $2 billion tied to 2020 riots, 500 events. $2 billion in damages per insurance data. A pre-midterm drop naming lawmakers and NGOs like Indivisible with $8 million in 2024 donations per FEC could ignite fury. Rasmussen's April 2025 poll shows 78% of voters demand election integrity. Waters California 47th won by 6% in 2024 per state records could flip red if proof sticks. Case study, the 2008 Blagojevich scandal $435,000 in bribes per DOJ sank Illinois Democrats for a cycle per vote tallies. Trump's betting a bigger exposed $10 billion across decades per speculative audits shifts 20 House seats per political models. Border security, walls, data, and pushback. Border actions heating up. Kristi Noem at DHS is building 2.5 miles of wall near San Diego per April 9th updates, targeting 1,000 monthly crossings per CBP logs and 200 trafficking cases per ICE. Walls delay, entrance 30 minutes per Border Patrol studies boosting drone and night vision catches to 70% from 40% per 2024 metrics. Texas AG Ken Paxton probes USA fencing for axing Stephanie Turner, who knelt against a male fencer April 6th per his April 9th release, tying fairness to Texas law after 500 complaints per his office. DOJ uncovered 5 million Social Security numbers issued to non-citizens since 2015 per SSA data used for 3 million jobs, 1 million licenses, and 500,000 votes per Mike Lee's ex-post. IRS head Melanie Krause resigned April 8th over DHS data sharing $50 billion in tax gaps per IRS 2024, hinting at exposed schemes. New Jersey's U.S. Attorney Elena Hubbard enforces Trump's orders against Governor Murphy's resistance, 200 arrests blocked per state logs per her April 9th statement. The 2014 crisis, 68,000 unaccompanied minors per CBP spurred $3 billion in aid per Congress. Trump's wall aims for 500 miles by 2029 per DHS, having entries from 1.2 million in 2024 per ICE, saving $10 billion in enforcement per CBO. Global shifts, peace talks and populist waves. Globally, Trump's leaning into peace. Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araqi wrote in an April 8 Washington Post op-ed, "We're ready to deal on our nuclear program, the ball's in America's court." Talks with Russia and Ukraine, 1,500 calls since January per White House aides aim to end a conflict costing $200 billion per UN estimates. Russia's Deputy FM clarified April 9th their 2025 Iran pact lacks defense duties, $10 billion in trade per treaty text, leaving Iran exposed if tensions spike. Europe's shifting to Germany's AfD hit 25% in April 2025 polls, first ever per local data, after 300 protests per police logs. El Salvador's Level 1 travel rating per state's April 8th update, 50,000 gang arrests per 2024 stats, tops France's Level 2 per same scale. Italy's Brothers of Italy at 28% per March polls, and Hungary's Fidesz at 45% per April data signal a populist tide, 20 elections flipped since 2020 per EU records. Uncovering lies, Wuhan, vaccines and trust. History's cracking open. A December 2022 report surfaced April 9th by the Washington Free Beacon reveals 7 U.S. troops had COVID-like symptoms at Wuhan's 2019 military games 3 months before. China's December 2019 alert near the Wuhan lab, funded by $3.7 million NIH grants per 2020 filings. Biden's team hid it. John Kirby denied infections in 2021 per post logs costing trust and $5 trillion in pandemic aid per CBO. A CIA official tied to Biden's vaccine mandate, 80% troop compliance per DoD, got fired April 8th per Don Jr. Essex. The 2009 H1N1 cover-up, 50 million cases per CDC, pales here. This could shift 10% of voters per Gallup Trust polls by 2026. Judicial games, optics, and power plays. In courts, Amy Coney Barrett's siding with liberal justices in an April 2025 ruling 5-4 on labor law per dockets stirs debate. Karma Patriots X-thread argues its strategic conservatives split votes to dodge a Trump court label, risking riots like 2020's 1,000 events per ACLED, or packing like 2021's 13 justice push per congressional logs. With 20 Trump cases 15% up in deportation suits per DOJ, optics guard his 6-3 edge. Checkmate ahead, reclaiming control. Trump's weaving a web agency purges, fund cuts, walls, exposés to clinch 2026. Fannie Mae's 100 firings for fraud, $200 million lost per April 9th reports, and Arctic Frost's 2022 FBI probe, 50 subpoenas, 100 facilities per Grassley Johnson files bear rot. Midterms could seal it, 80% turnout like 1960's 63% per FEC, delivering justice with 30-seat gains per political forecasts. We're at a crossroads. Timelines converge, truths unfold, stakes climb. The LM Report keeps you anchored with facts and vision. Thanks for joining today. Be well, be safe, stay curious. If this fired you up, subscribe to the LM Report. We're building a crew to face tomorrow together. This is Lima, out till next time.